find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you're off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, look at the Tyson! They haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it! Big Barry!
Line now though for the heavy braking zone.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the iGPFun F3 League here from Laguna Seca. It's the penultimate round of Season 3 in 2023. My name is Ewan Leary alongside Dean Biggles here for tonight's broadcast. We're very much looking forward to the penultimate round of this championship as it begins to wind down and we find out whether Kenzie Newhoff can wrap this title challenge up before even the final round takes place next week. Here live on the JPB YouTube channel. Welcome one and all, welcome to everybody who's tuned in the YouTube chat, of course. Make sure you chat to us throughout the day and whatever. It'd be nice to hear from you as we go through with this penultimate race of the season. Let's have a look at the championship standings before we go any further. These are the total points that they have in the championship so far. Bear in mind that there will be 2 drop rounds added to their season points at the end. I'll explain what that means in a few moments' time. But Kenzie Newhoff has scored the most points total so far this season, with Connor Gibb in second, Andy Flint third with Christian Glamsita and Antonio Jimenez, who is in the top 5. Then it's Latvian Moses Putniks in 6th ahead of Adam Townsman. Marek Sotlov is in 8th place ahead of Chuck Morrow and Evan Way. Just outside the top 10 is Leonard Sherry with Robert Widgway in 12th. Rino Scattini is in 13th position. But more importantly, he's leading the 2500 category, by the way, the subcategory in this season. Vyacheslav Potapenko is 14th ahead of Koji Ito, who was challenging for that 2500 category last season, as it turned out. He's in 15th in the overall championship standings. Then, following on from that, it's Pedro Suarez in 16th, followed by Dorian Arroyo. Wanshi Lin is in 18th, followed by Irvins Chumakans in 19th. Rounding out the top 20 is Jakub Olszewski. Then it's Samuel Hermer in 21st, ahead of Stuart Milne. Zach Willems is in 23rd, ahead of Will McIntyre, and Zoltan Zamota in 25th. And then the final 5 drivers will go through with Stephen Ridders, Simon Fessy, Gianfranco Bagotto and Alvin Chan there in 29th position. Just going to show you the top 30 or so with Dennis Cornu there in 30th place because there's an awful lot of drivers on our list and not enough time to get through them, in all honesty. There are 81 drivers who have at least put their name down to start one of these races. Not quite all of them have scored points, but it's been an absolutely huge grid. Welcome in one and all. As I said earlier, my name is Ewan Leary. I'm alongside Dean Biggles for this one instead of James Parfitt. Welcome in, Dean, to a new series. And a very busy series, as you were commenting to me just before we came to air here. There are so many cars out on what realistically is not a very long circuit at all.
43 or so drivers, exactly. Welcome, everybody. It's good to be here, stepping in the big boots there of Mr. James to try to deliver as much action as we possibly can in the production trailer and also the commentating. Yeah, 20 years of iGPFun. Their partner, as you can see, it is absolutely jam-packed, almost like your Californian highway or freeway to get to the track, mate. Look at that, look at the track map. It's just, find a space, find a gap if you can.
Yeah, it's difficult to find a gap in qualifying. We've still got, 7.5 minutes remaining, 6.5 remaining in the session right now. And at the moment, Timo Milakangis is leading the way ahead of Conor Wagner. Thiago Martu is in third, sorry. Then it's Will McIntyre, Jones and Benjamin Frigero, or Frigero, don't know. But in third place there, fifth place there for the Frenchman. He's up there, only a quarter of a second away at the moment. Hello to Tony Jimenez in the YouTube chat at the moment. Not sure whether he is racing today because he is at 5th place in the championship standings. Unfortunately slipped away and out of championship contention during the last round, but it doesn't look like he's racing tonight. Do tell us why, Tony, if that is the case, because we will Your absence is notable, put it that way, in the series today. Also hi to Dan Peoples, who's for some reason watching us. I thought he was on another broadcast, to be quite honest with you, but clearly not. And he's tuned in here along with Arroyas as well. Welcome into all of you. Hope you'll enjoy the show this evening. On board with, or not on board with, but watching Conor Wagner making his way out of the final corner now here at Laguna Seca, on home soil. Although saying that, he could be absolutely miles away, given the fact he is from America, but with Laguna Seca right on the west coast in California, he could be absolutely miles away from Laguna Seca in reality. He's in second at the moment, just 92 thousandths away from Timo Milakangis. But as you mentioned earlier, Dean, I mean, it's just finding a bit of free track space here, and that proving difficult for Wagner. Even if he can find the track space, I think he's finding it difficult to actually go any quicker than his previous lap times that he's managed in this session.
He's going to try his absolute best, as you can see. So he is actually catching those cars at the right place to still keep on the loud pedals loud as you can. We're on board right now. If you want to give us a bit of a hot lap around the short lap of Laguna Seca.
Yes, it is a short lap. Indeed. Let's stay on board with him for the remainder of this lap, just to get a bit of an idea of the rises and falls here as well. That's the corkscrew, the famous corkscrew, of course, but in my opinion, not the most challenging corner on this circuit, or section on this circuit, I've got to say. Saying that, I find all of it quite difficult. It's not a circuit that you have much room for error at all. Wagner sticks it in for a late apex of the final turn. He'll run up towards the line and cross it now. Wagner nowhere near his best lap time there, and Milakangis continues on in the lead. Dan Peoples was indeed on another broadcast earlier on, so he's joining us now. Hello to him. Also, good point in chat made by Alex Rich as well, that the Teams Championship could be seeing a big day today. 78 points is the gap that No Limit Sim Racing have over Scuderia Hydro Race Racing Forces Formula Sim Racing Team by iRace. That's their actual name. In second, with Andy Flint and Adam Townsber, it's Conor Gibb and Christian Glamsey, the two drivers for No Limits Sim Racing. So they're a long way ahead in terms of the overall points, and nearly 100 ahead in terms of having two drop weeks as well. So No Limit Sim Racing could be having their big moment tonight as well, but with two inside the top five, not too much of a surprise. No, we don't want you to leave, Dan. Just saying, it's good to have you here on board, Dean, with the only Australian we have in the field tonight. Lee Aberdeen has made some progress in this qualifying session. I think it was only 10 minutes ago when you were telling me he was down in 19th place.
Yeah, the Thunder from Down Under, mate. So he's the only Australian on the grid. Last year's champion that you had mentioned to me in the green room. So he had to lift off in this lap to allow some cars through. Let's see if he's going to be banking it, getting it all ready for another lap. 2 minutes and change just left of the qualifying. Once again, I think you just mentioned that there, Ewan. It's all about finding the gap so that you can keep your foot planted and not have to worry about traffic.
Aberdeen there not able to improve. I think that was a 17-0 from him, which is quite a way away from his current best, which is standing at a 14.3. That's still 4 tenths away from Milakangis, who leads the way. Adam Townsman he's just come into the pit lane. He's not making an improvement there. He's 15th just for the moment, I believe. 17th. He's even further back than that, as Martiu just slows down to allow a bit of space in front of him. He won a couple of weeks ago, by the way, in the race at Donington, I think it was. It was Nürburgring. It was Antonio Jimenez in the Donington race just the week before that. And last week it was a bit of a blast from the past with Jesper Sandström taking the win at Belle Isle. Haven't seen that for quite some time because he hasn't been in the series for a little while, but he is a previous champion of this championship back in season 1 of 2023. So see him making a return last week. Unfortunately, he's not returned again this time around, as we go on board in 6th place with Aaron Smith here looking for an improvement as well. It very much feels like the end of this session now, though, Dean. Just over a minute to go, and nobody's really improving out there on the circuit.
Now, you do see that a lot, really, in iRacing, that the tracks, even with the evolution, doesn't seem to give you that much more pace towards the end. It's not like that kind of exciting F1, last across the line will get the fastest time. Not in that particular order here. So this could very much be just a couple of changes. You can see, get out into that dirt, it kicks up a little bit, doesn't give you too much traction. See if Aaron Smith can try to do anything about that. It's only 2/10, remember. That's not a lot that's separating. You look at that too, Ewan. You're looking at a second between first and 25th. That's how close they are.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I know Laguna Seca's short, but that's not exactly been unusual to see that kind of time gap over the course of the qualifying session. Oh, that's a late lap time from Martiu. What a lap time. Thiago Martiu tips Timo Milikangis off the top right at the very end. And by 19 thousandths of a second, it's going to be Martiu on pole. Just about at the end. Well, that was a surprise. And it may have even surprised himself. It certainly surprised Milikangis, who now has had to scramble to get out there, get around and get one more lap in. He's not going to be able to do it though. He'll pull to the right-hand side and he will have to start from the outside of the front row. It's an out lap for Will McIntyre-Jones here as well. He's going to see time elapse before he can actually start a flying lap, I think here. I think the timer ticked over before he got there. Although I'm not entirely sure, I've got to say. At the moment, yeah, unsure. He seems to be still pushing, but I think the timer elapsed before the end of that outlap for McIntyre-Jones. Well, Martiu may well have just stolen that right at the very end. 19 thousandths of a second to Timo Milikangis, who has just been tipped off the top of the standings. Rinus Kattini comes over the line in a bit of a decent improvement from him, or at least in a few of the sectors, but doesn't trouble the top 10. Bit of dirty air for McIntyre-Jones, bit of traffic. Is there a bit of slipstream there maybe he's benefited from? Unfortunately so far 3 sectors where he's not going any quicker, and his line's all wrong into the corkscrew as well. Unfortunately that's not going to be it for Will McIntyre-Jones.
Yeah, we need to give it everything, didn't he, that last bit to try to make up for that traffic that probably did throw him off a little bit. Just the rest of the drivers now, just a handful of them about to cross the lap for the last time they can. Exactly. Well, you pull that one out of for the pole. They are teammates, so you're going to have race clutch in P1 and P2. So if they work together, well, they're going to be basically, there is no number one driver in the team, and they'll get ready for their racing.
Well, timer has definitely elapsed now. The checker flag has come out on the top left, as you can see. Adam Townsburg's the final driver out there, at least though, of those who's up towards the front, and he's not going any quicker at the moment. Hello to AeroX, who's also joining us this evening, and a good evening to everybody. And Jack, giving me a bit of a pronunciation lesson, which you're more than welcome, by the way. There's a lot of names, and we're probably getting most of them wrong, so please do correct us if you know better. It's Marteau, at the front of the field. Thiago Marteau at the front. So there we are. We'll get that right from now on. He's alongside Timo Milikangis on the front with Conor Wagner and Will McIntyre-Jones on row 2. Benjamin Frigueiro is on the 5th place ahead of Aaron Smith. Then it's Greg Sates and Andy Flint on an All-American row 4. Lee Aberdeen and Kenty Newhoff round out the top 10 with Clark Williams and Andrea Kata on row 6. Andrea Di Natale is just behind his compatriot there with Guangxi Lin. Then it's Roberto Fay and Christian Glamseater on row 8. Adam Talsmer and Leonard Sherry are the next row behind, with second place in the championship Conor Gearb all the way down in 19th alongside Philip Lucas. Evan Wade just misses out on the top 20 with Chuck Morrow 22nd. Marcis Putnick's, Nick Carty and Irvin's Tulmakins round out the top 25 with Edward Amos 26th. Zach Willems rounds out 27th with Robert Ridgway, Vasyslav Potapenko and Marek Otlovs inside the top 30. Rinus Kattini just misses out on that. He's alongside Koji Ito. Garrett Spence is alongside Zoltan Zamota on row 17. Then it's Joris Blom and Reed Dennis. Paolo Brem and Matthew Gracie are on row 19 ahead of Michael LeMay and Dorian Arroyo, who round out the top 20 rows. Then it's Ben Goya and Matt Brewer, followed by Casper Nielsen, the final driver on our 43-car grid. What a lineup it is. So many drivers out here tonight. As this season winds down to an end, the numbers are certainly not dipping. It's absolutely fantastic to see. Thiago Marteau with a fantastic final lap time to take pole away at the end. You very rarely see that in this series. It's not a traditional short session where you have to get the times in all at once. It's a fairly long drawn out affair where the order is pretty set going into those final 10 minutes that we just saw, but Marteau was having none of it, making sure that He took that pole position, and he will be leading the field away to the green flag. There will be an orange zone, of course, all the way up until the end of turn 4, meaning no active overtaking until they get out of that turn. But you will still need a good start as we get the lights on at Laguna Seca and we get the race underway. 38 laps in California in the penultimate round in the iGPFun F3 League for Season 3 in 2023. Here, Thiago Motto converts a late pole position to a good start on the run in towards turn 1. It's side by side between Wagner and Milikangis, and it's the American who prevails for second place, although Milikangis still to the inside. Can't quite do it through there. Still no active overtaking, of course. Here's turn 4 at the right-hander. Now they'll be properly racing. Now there'll be proper active overtakes, and they run up towards turn 5. You can see no positional changes so far, but there will be some now. A look up the inside from Aaron Smith into the top 5. He can't quite manage it, but it's a good start for the Pulsar Tomato, who converts that lead into, or that pole position at least, into an early lead.
Absolutely cracker of a race. It's good to see. So many cars out on the track, and they're all well behaved for now, of course, on our first lap. And it's good. It's absolutely cracking racing. Here we go, up and down the roller coaster through there. Everybody say good. No, just spoke too soon, as it looks like kind of grib, I think, goes around.
It's not good news for Conor Gibb if that is the case. Christian Glamseater as well. He's in the top 5 in the championship, and he's still one of those contenders. There he is. Christian Glamseater needed a good day today to remain in championship contention. Unfortunately, it's not gone his way. Conor Gibb is down in 27th as well. There's Kenzie Newhoff in just outside the top 10 at the moment. He's looking for a title, and he could snatch it today. And with the situation the way it is, he would be. Off into the gravel goes Andy Flint as well. Another one of the top 5 in the championship. They're falling by the wayside. They're all going off the road. Kenzie Newhoff at the moment is having a dream day, and despite only being 11th, the championship leader may well be walking away with a title at the end of 38 laps.
Australia, he's definitely on his way there, and all you have to do is get some nice overtakes done, keep the car on the track safely, and that trophy. He's starting engraving that name on that trophy at the moment, as that's also somebody else in the background. I think that's Andy Flint.
It is. Yeah. Andy Flint, and Sykes has gone off at the fast left-hander. There, off the road goes Andy Flint, so the team's championship takes another turn as well, let's not forget. We saw Gibb and Glamseater both have issues on that one. Oh, there's more trouble. Lee Aberdeen is one of them. Faye as well. This is and Aaron Smith has gone off as well. This is going to take some unpicking, because we have seen carnage on the opening couple of laps here at Laguna Seca. Not many of the drivers haven't taken a trip through the sand on the outside of the road just yet. There goes Di Natale down the inside into 8th place. What a chaotic start, and already we've got nearly 10 drivers in the pit lane.
Yeah, it's just like that it is. Remember, there's still a race at the front here. Although our Martino is doing a pretty good job there with about trying to pull a second gap, but this is the battle for P2 currently on your screen right now. And they're going to do their best while there's tons of action. We'll try to get as many replays as we can back on that one further. But for now, my friend, this is where some future action is also occurring at over here with our sole Japanese driver under a little bit of trying to apply the pressure here for P24.
Well, yeah, it's a disaster for Conor Gibb, I'm afraid. At the end of 2 laps, he's into the pit lane. He was the most likely driver to take this title away from Kenzie Newhoff, and at the moment, it's not going to happen as we go on board with Koji Ito back in 26th position. He's going to be looking for a move on Paolo Brem here. He will look to the inside on this occasion. Will he get it done? Not quite. They'll continue to battle side by side towards the fearsome turn 6. Very fast left-hander. You dip into the corner, and it's a great run round the outside for Brem to hold on to that place. Further at the front, Thiago Marteau was held on to the lead by 1.2 seconds. Then it's Conor Wagner in second, holding on from Milikangis, who's still third, but he's looking up the inside. A late dive on the inside at turn 1, and a great move as well. A second and a half to the leader, but for now that doesn't matter, because Milikangis has made his move and he's into second place.
Perfect executed. Absolutely perfect. That's all you needed to do. Wait for the right moment. We're on board right now with Natale. And he's got 2 cars up the road to look at navigating underneath the Firestone Bridge. All the battle currently. That's for P7 and behind. As you can see, there's a bit of gap already forming between P7, P6 and so forth. And as you just saw, the Finnish driver at the moment trying to get past. He got the job done on Wagner, and he's trying to make his way up to that 1.2 second gap to take the race win.
See Mackenzie Newhoff up to 7th and taking a risk or two by making that move there. Oh, what a chaotic start we have seen. Both No Limit Sim Racing drivers with issues. Gibb is down in 34th at the moment, and Christian Glabseater down in 30th. I think they've both been into the pit lane, have they? No, Glabseater hasn't, but he has been off the road at the corkscrew, as we saw earlier on. That would have been great news for Scuderia Hydra Race, but unfortunately Flint has been off the road. Townsman's having a good race, a decent one. Well, I haven't seen him go off, but then again, I can't find him on the order. He's down in 35th, so it seems that everybody involved in the team's championship fight have been affected by this, and they've all had problems. They're all going to lose points, and there's nobody really close enough to benefit from that. In third place, Hydra Race with Newhoff and Suarez not really close enough to get involved. We'll see about them though, and we'll see about Newhoff towards the end of this one. But as I mentioned earlier on, a top 10 would certainly be good enough for Newhoff. A top 15 would probably be good enough for him to seal the title today. But with Gibb even further down, his job gets even easier. Here's Zoltan Zamotna, and what a fight we're seeing for 25th position. It was Ito versus Brem earlier on. Finally, Koji Ito has gotten through, and now Zoltan Zamotna is trying to do the same on Paolo Brem, who will want to stop being overtaken here on lap 5 of this race.
I love it. This is some fierce, great racing, considering we have 43 or so drivers. There's one retirement at the moment. We still have a few more that have visited pit road, of course, of that carnage that occurred earlier on lap 1. Lap 6 at the moment of 38. Still putting it, and looks like, there's a little bit of a moment here. There's a battle for P4.
Here we go. Will McIntyre Jones holding on from Benjamin Frigorio in 5th. But the Frenchman does get through. Inside line at turn 3. And he has made his move. So that's another place for Frigorio, or the first one at least, in this race. The first overtake he's made. The top few drivers have stayed where they are now in terms of corrected order, with Wagner having been overtaken again by Milikangis. There's down the inside is Matthew Gracie, I think that was, on Doran Arroyo. It was indeed. So Gracie's up to 23rd, and Arroyo's made up some fantastic places so far. 16 gained already as we've got off the road Kata, Adam Townsborough. So these are the issues further back. Let's have a look at some replays. These were the issues on lap 1. Adam Talsberg for Scuderia Hydra Race is down the inside, gets it all wrong. Well, this is just a big mess, isn't it? It's hard to know. Oh, who's that? Somebody cartwheeling over the field. Goodness me. Well, that was chaos in towards the corkscrew.
Yeah, we'll take another look at that this is Connor Gibbs, No Limits. As you can see, this is where it just goes all pole-shaped, and there's cars. Who is that flying in the background? Yeah.
There's 2 cars flying through the air. Well, this could be quite sickening, so brace yourself here. This is Wan Shi Ling we're on board with. He's on the outside. Things going okay for him. Bit of contact, spin around, and he just about avoid everybody. Further back, it was there was a car.
Wondering who it was specifically though at that moment.
Is it Glabseater? We'll have a look at him. Oh, he's going to get hit here. No, not quite, by Townsman. So Glabseater's the one who goes round there. Gibb gets caught up behind Townsman. That's one of the most ludicrous things I think I've ever seen. Whoever that was, well, we'll be none the wiser, because there's about 10 people involved there, and it's just impossible to find who it exactly was, but you get the idea. I've not seen anything like that for quite some time, Dean, in one of these races. It was, that was quite remarkable.
I bring you the entertainment, I promise. You couldn't script it any better. We'll go back and have a look at those replays as much as we can later on. For now, I want to make sure we keep an eye on the live action, as that Christian is trying to force his No Limits racing machine around the outside there of Zoltan. I do apologise if I don't get these names correctly, but trust me, Ewan has it all covered for you here live and broadcasted on the JP Broadcasting Network. Hit the bells and like and subscribe if you are enjoying this race, because I certainly am, and these 2 Top Guns are certainly enjoying a battle here.
Wow, that was close. It was Di Natale and Newhoff. Newhoff knows, of course, that If he throws it off the road, then his championship chances could be over, but he knows that just staying in these positions will be okay, but he's still willing to battle, and Di Natale does get through. That's Leonard Sherry just in behind, and then Evan Way, who rounds out the rest of the top 10. It was pretty close on the exit of turn 2, and you've got to remember to give space, especially around this circuit. I know that applies anywhere, but there's no runoff around this circuit, almost anywhere, so you do have to be careful of that. As now Leonard Sherry closes towards the corkscrew, can't quite do it. As in the background, Evan Way has gone off the road, so has Marcius Putniks, and that was down at turn 6. There, the left-hander. This race so far, the first quarter of this race has been carnage, and this is the latest story. He clips the bump and the curb on the inside. Evan Way just has a trip through the sand.
Has that caused Marcus to follow this similar path there? Because you see that from the left-hand driver. Yep, that's just a mimic, isn't it, of what you do, because you end up following the driver rather than following your own racing line, and it happens to the best drivers in the world.
Yeah, he almost followed in the wheel tracks to the inch there, but thankfully neither of them hit the wall, and they're both able to continue. That puts Wang Shi Lin into the top 10. Leonard Sherry closes in on Kenzie Newhoff. You can see in the light blue and the yellow. Pedro Suarez not here today, by the way, and so that's really going to damage their team's hopes, even if they had any at this stage. It does seem that the team's championship being settled by this race, in that nobody's really scoring any points. This is a reminder of what happened on lap 1. Adam Townsville, one of the protagonists for Scuderia Hydra Race, spinning right behind Glamseater there, who was also spun. That's Connor Gibb, you can see on the left-hand side there, getting caught up in it. Zach Willems was one of the ones involved in flipping through the air. He wasn't the one actually doing the cartwheeling, but he did arrive backwards on the way into the corkscrew. So I wonder if he had something to do with it there, maybe.
I'm trying to find, though, who was the one that was in the flipping upside down? Do you remember which driver that was, as we're going to see this nice tight battle?
It's down the inside for Zamota. I think Zach Willems in the 23 car was involved in it. He wasn't the one who did the flipping, because I couldn't identify that, as it was.
I think it's this driver here. Something delivery. We'll just have a look. If it was Zola? Zelton?
Zoltan Zamota here. Yeah, 24th. Ito just in behind. Ito's gotten away from this. There's Glamseater just behind. Let's have a look here. This is Connor Gibb. And then further back. So now we might find out here. So Zoltan Zamota, was he involved or not with all of this? We're right on board with him here. Oh, so it's the... Oh, I think it's happened in front of Zamota, hasn't it?
There.
Well...
So, get to Adoro.
It's quite a mystery at the moment as to who was involved there, as Kenji Newhoff just makes a bit of a mistake. Leonard Sherry closes in for 8th place now on the run up towards the corkscrew. Newhoff still driving well within himself. We know that he often races better than he qualifies anyway. He's never been the best qualifier in the iGPFun F3 League. Maybe, you could argue, it cost him a title last season. He and Lee Aberdeen were tied on points at the end of the season, but on countback, on races won, Lee Aberdeen was crowned champion. He's got an average start of 4th place this season, though, Kenzie Newhoff, which is a little bit of an improvement, because last season his average start was only 8th, and he kept giving himself a lot of work to do. He has improved this season, despite a slightly slow start, where he missed a round at the 3rd round of the season. He's well on top now, though, as we go on board with Edward Amos, looking at passing Tumakans in towards turn 1. That's not quite going to happen, as the first quarter of this race, I've got to say, Biggles has flown by. It's been carnage on occasion, but great action sprinkled within that as well.
Time flies when you're having fun. The drivers are hopefully having fun. They're getting sweating it out there for sure. Just trying to keep it keeping it on the track there. A couple of little off-track moments for most of the drivers. We saw that during some of the qualifying. We saw a lot of it during the practice session earlier. But you guys didn't see it on air, but we did. But that's practice, you know what I mean? That's the point. You're pushing the car to the absolute limits to find where the track limits are, so that you know when you get underway for the main race that you're not going to be pushing it too much. Although tyre wear and everything else does come back into play. And here we go. So is Cherry. Doesn't want to give this one up at the moment to a future world champion.
Yeah, not quite. Kenzie Newhoff waiting to be crowned. And as of right now, if the race were to end right now, he would be out over the line for the end of lap 11. Going on to lap 12 now, these drivers. Leonard Sherry closing towards turn 1. Will there be a move here? Not quite. He'll look to the outside. Newhoff is taking a defensive line, which is surprising, and very close between the two there. Cherry almost getting into the back of the Dutchman, just up in front. He can't find his way through, but he's got a tighter line on the way towards turn 3. And he stayed close through 4 for a bigger braking zone at 5. Oh, it's a little bit wide for Newhoff. Now the chance may come for the Norwegian as he goes to the outside. He can't do it there, though. Newhoff stays in front in this battle for 7th.
Let's have a look on board. Newhoff, he's defending. Doesn't need to defend. You said he's going to be pretty much handed this one if he can stay within these top 15 or so that I think you mentioned. But at this point, he's still a race driver, isn't he? And telling a race driver not to get overtaken is not an easy thing to do. And he's giving everything he can to fight that way through there.
That was close. Newhoff shutting the door firmly in Cherry's face. Slamming it indeed. Wanshi Lin arrives as well. On board we are with him now. He's got a great seat of this spout.
It's good to see a Chinese driver, of course, in iRacing. Not many Chinese drivers in the racing leagues, and I would love to have more and more of them. In fact, I would love to see China back in the Formula 1 calendar because it has the record of the most amount of overtakes in a Formula 1 race. And at the moment, Mr. Len would like to be seeing himself overtaking these two battling up the road, but for now, he's just happy to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I wonder when Shanghai is coming to our racing. That'd be cool, but can't see that happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Cherry getting very close to Kenzie Newhoff, the 7th place. Lynn just making a bit of a mistake in towards turn 1 and 2 there, and falls back a little bit. Philip Lucas now on the back of him there as well. Up towards turn 6 they go. The high commitment left-hander. You dip into a bit of a, I don't want to call it a valley because it's a bit small, but just a small dip. Up the hill they go towards the corkscrew, which certainly can't be described as small. It is a real ramp downhill for the rainy curve, which is the 3rd last turn. Turn 9, then turn 10, equally committed and medium speed. And then the final corner, which just see its fair share of overtaking attempts here and now and then anyway. But not this time.
Have a look how difficult it is right now as you're riding on board. This is what the drivers will see out there if you are new to iRacing. There's none of this they can't drive in T-Cam or anything else fancy like that. They have to sit there and here's the cockpit view just like that with that annoying antenna as well in the middle.
Yeah.
And then look at the correction of the steering there. You got to fight this car around this track for sure. There's no easy feat. This is not full of all those fancy goodies. This is pure man or woman versus machine versus track.
A little bit of a gap opened up by Newhoff in this opening sector. Jerry will have pressure from behind as Will McIntyre-Jones has been off, I think, at turn 6. I think just ran wide, maybe. Oh, and it's a bit more serious, in fact. Greg Seitz has got through. Oh, it's a spin. Well, most of the drivers we've seen just have a trip through the sand there and get going again, but not for McIntyre-Jones.
Has he been hit after, but? Just trying to see if there was a crash after this case here, or that was just a spin. Just so some of the information we're getting from race control there, that looks like that's it. That's hitting the chicanes again. We saw that. That's a very, very popular location, but he keeps it out of the fence on the right-hand side. I don't think anything else happens after that, which is good to see the drivers. I live to see another day. You don't want to get T-boned, because your force feedback might throw your hands all over the place. That's about as much damage, thankfully, that you can ever get in the world of esports racing, but still, you can break fingers, you can break wrists.
Famous curb claiming another victim as Andrea Di Natale makes his way down the inside of Chuck Morrow, or at least tries to. He's had a lively race so far, hasn't he, the Italian? He's been up there fighting on the fringes of the top 5. Had an incident outside the top 10 now, but looks every bit as worth a position inside of it once again. Morrow gets it a little bit wrong through turn 4 there, and Di Natale closes in all over again. There's quite a big train now. Will McIntyre-Jones is now the cork in the bottle for 6th place. This is quite a battle for the fringes of the top 5 in this race. Jerry's off the road at turn 6, and it's right in front of the pack. It's caused Wanshi Lin to have to go out of his way to avoid Philip Lucas as well. I think Jerry has gotten away without being hit, but that is a minor miracle that is the case. He's come out side by side with Edward Amos on the way down the hill through the corkscrew, and they're still going side by side. I think Jerry has now prevailed in that battle, but What a moment of drama for Leonard Cherry. This is how it happened, and look at the avoidance for Wan Chi Lin, who had to turn into the gravel and the sand to avoid him.
Just having a look at that, yeah, we'll try to look at the replay there of Cherry because I'm not getting anything from race control, but we do know that's exactly what happened, so we'll go back and have a look at this from Cherry. There it is. Oh, and nothing to do there. You're just a passenger, and you're gonna wait. Luckily, actually manages to slam it in reverse there to get off the racing line, so you don't get T-boned. Good to see. Still live to see another day, but dropped all the way down in P14.
He had trouble from Edward Amos at the corkscrew as well, but he held him off, as you can see. The sort of red and black car behind from UK Nowlin driver. Well, it's more of a pink actually than a red, isn't it? But he's in 15th place.
Yeah, two colours.
Sorry, I'm not colourblind. But I didn't get quite a glimpse of the circuit. That's a bit more blue on that maybe than black as well. Anyway, I'm going to end that colour conversation as Rino Cascatini just gets it slightly wrong on the run out of turn 6, and he'll be under a little bit of pressure on the way to the corkscrew as a result. That will be from Christian Glamseater, most likely, as or maybe Reed Dennis is the one he's fighting with further back. Let's have a look. Reed may have had problems of his own here.
I think as you can see, that's gone too deep into the corner, hasn't it? Because Reed's already going around on just before the exit and just loses the place, or 2 or 3.
Maybe 4. It was pretty close. Yeah, not ideal for him. We go a bit further back to outside the top 20. Roberto Fay has dropped 10 places so far today. Biggest mover forward, by the way. We like to speak about those going forwards rather than those going backwards. Biggest mover forwards is Garrett Spence so far in the 18th position. He started 33rd, which is a gain of 15 so far in today's race. That's another great thing about this series, is you can get some drivers who start at the very back and you can get them right near towards the front all over again, because the field is so large and there's so much opportunity to make overtakes in these F3 cars. It's just fantastic to watch, and you can get some real big movers forwards, as you can see on the left hand side of your screen now.
Here's Chuck. He's going to be chucking the car into the corner. Sorry, Chuck, there's the puns. I have to have one per race, as you can see. Just getting on with it, up into 3rd gear, 4th gear. They're not short shifting or anything too crazy at this point, so he must be pretty comfortable with the car, comfortable with the tyres. And out there in the chat, that's exactly what Tony says. Luganga, can you get that one right? Luganga is a no mistakes track. Wow, I did do my exercises, but further back there is nice little battle brewing. Mr. Ewan.
Yes, it's Leonard Cherry recovering again. Tumikins and Amos, the ones trying to take that position away for 13th at the moment. Yeah, Tony Jimenez is absolutely right. They're going to take a no mistakes track, and that is absolutely correct, because the sand sort of lining the circuit does claim victims, as Vyacheslav Potapenko may have learnt in the last couple of moments. Seen that Zoltan Zamota has also been off the road, by the way. That's just a bit of on power oversteer and a spin there for Potapenko. He gets back going again.
Into the final corner. Here we go. So there's a bit of work that's been happening. Connor
yeah.
It's chipping away slowly, lap by lap.
Well, now we've got the problem of traffic. You mentioned it earlier on in qualifying, but it's going to be a problem in the race as well. The fact that the circuit's not very long means that Marto has now had to lap a few drivers, and is that going to hold back Conor Wagner in his battle here with Timo Milikangis, because his fight for second is close for now, but there's a lot of cars to negotiate.
Get out of the way right there, according to the J. You don't want to be talking about James and blue flags, that's for sure. Woof. That's just another story in itself. I'm sure you've heard that one before, Ewan. Not that many people out there in the audience have probably heard that. That's getting a little bit dicing and out onto the chicane there, my friend, Mr. Wagner. We've seen some people dicing with death at this track, and might end up paying a visit to those fences soon. I always say buy them flowers and dinner. Some of the drivers getting out of the way as well, too. Wanting to see this battle resuming for P2 there. Ewan?
Getting out of the way quite substantially, actually, by driving entirely off the road at the Rainy Curve, which was advised, by the way, in the driver briefing. Sort of encouraged not to lap cars around there, because it's a dangerous corner. The race briefing also did say to definitely don't dive in towards turn 6. which is for understandable reasons in terms of lapping drivers. We're about to see it here as well. I'm board with Reen Dennis. That was turn 5. This is turn 6, and you can understand exactly why they don't want laps or lappery trying to take place at this particular point in the circuit. You can get a run out of there and go for it at the corkscrew though. Glamseater heads to the outside but can't quite find the space to overtake Rino Scatini that time. He takes a bit of a narrower line on the run down the hill now, and he'll try and find his way through for 20th place, which is what this fight is for, but can't do it for the moment. What about Edwin Amos? He's on the back of Tumikins, who was trying to get through on Leonard Cherry earlier on, but now Amos is giving him some trouble. He's challenging him now. Edwin Amos to the inside at turn 3.
Trying it, absolutely. Oh, the wheel spin. That's the beauty of these cars. You got to feel it, the energy. It's all on your right foot, and then you got to trust in the machine. Trust in the way you're going to be doing your exits there. They get on the power down, of course. Only loses a little bit of speed, ain't too bad. I'm a bit of pressure behind there by Robert Ridgway as well. Just having a look at Kenzie as well. Because he looked like he was really sizing up. Looks like Jones in P6 for that position. Keep an eye on that battle, but right now, this is the battle that's pursuing. And I'm going back up to Philip Lucas there and Chuck. They're also going for it too for now. Multiple battles in multiple places at this track and expected, and the traffic coming into play. Right on cue there, Ewan.
Wow. It's Di Natale for 10th place, the Italian making an unbelievable dive bomb. And it's happened as well. Morrow loses speed on the exit. That is a lap driver getting involved. Not sure what that's all about at the moment, I'm afraid. As Evan Way looks to the outside of Chuck Morrow as well. It's an all North American battle for 11th place right now as well, as they make their way in towards turn 3. The lap driver trying to get up the inside of Di Natale as well. This is odd, I've got to say. Not very often you see lap drivers getting involved quite in this way, as they are doing at the moment. Just trying to identify that one for you at the moment, as they make their way around the first half of the lap. It could be Aaron Smith maybe in the 42, who's all the way down in 31st position, and maybe making a nuisance of himself. Maybe Andy Flint as well, but it doesn't quite look like him. Evan Way is in 12th place, just in behind Chuck Morrow there. You can see on the run up towards the corkscrew, it's getting very close, and there's lap drivers involved as well. It's so busy, so exciting to watch at the moment on lap 22.
Oh, it's always going to be fun when you're having essentially 42 drivers on the track, and now you've got about 10 or so actually being lapped. So they're coming into the mix, a spanner in the mix. That's why you got to love having so many cars out here. It's great. I'm sure if you're obviously the race driver trying to overtake them, you're like, well, it gets a little bit of frustrating, but well, the drivers are doing the right thing. You and they're allowing them through, but this is also providing some fantastic cracking entertainment here on round 11, my friend. 20 years of this motor racing. I hope 20 more to come as well.
Absolutely fantastic. Everway looks to the outside of Chuck Morrow. Can't happen there for him. He stays behind. By the way, on that last lap, I think Benjamin Frigerio in 4th place had issues. His last lap was a 118 compared to the 115s that he's been doing. Let's have a look at it. I thought it might have been at turn 6. That would be my first guess. Oh, he just ran a little bit wide. Ooh. Oh!
Just keep it out of the fence. Yes!
Oh, well done.
And back on the track safely. Wow.
Wow. Well, I thought for sure on a couple of occasions he was in the wall there, but or at least having a spin as well. But he managed to keep it pointing the right way and also avoid hitting the wall. That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's absolutely save of the day. Somebody clipped that one for sure. It's also good. It's always so great to clip some of these things when drivers do miracle saves, not just crashes, of course, and overtakes, things like that. And doing encouraging that, as we're seeing, obviously something hitting in pit road already. Is that?
Will McIntyre Jones is in the pit lane, or was. Not sure what's happened to him, really. And also, Timo Milakangis has been off the road because he's lost 2nd place. So he's now having to fight for 3rd with Benjamin Freserio. We'll have a look at Milakangis. Oh, it's a lap car incident, I think. Oh. That's not Wagner.
Does he save it?
But it's...
Yes.
Yes, he does, I think. Oh, no, not quite. Well, it spins around. But I think that was a lap driver he was getting involved with there.
I think you might be right on that one as well too, because I don't think they were that close, were they? They were at least a second and change. Interesting, this battle's still... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Christian Glamseater makes his way up into 18th place. Philip Lucas is off the road. I bet I can guess where that is. It's turn 6. He's making his way back on again. And I think he's avoided the wall. Oh, there's a slow Leonard Sherry as well, I think. Is there? I think there might be. I think there were a couple of cars involved in this one. Back for the top 10 positions, or the lower part of it anyway. There's Lucas. Oh, gets on the sand. He can't quite save it in the same way that Frigerio did. Cherry went off on his own as well. You could just see him making his way through the gravel. It's such a difficult corner, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's the place you want to get your fold-up chair and your popcorn. To sit and enjoy that. If you were trackside, that's the best damn tickets. Forget the grandstand. Sit right there. Might get a bit of dust kicked up in you, a bit of sand kicked up in your chair as well, too, all over you. So I'd probably recommend to wear a poncho or some of that, but it's certainly fun.
A bit warm for a poncho, to be fair, but find a tree maybe to sit under, and you'll be okay. Gloucester and Glamseater now looking for a move on Spencer as well, in towards 17th place. This is into turn 1. It's a late braking manoeuvre from Glamseater, who's really recovered well actually here. Could be making his way into second in the championship, by the way, with Gibb a long way back. Glamseater has the opportunity to overhaul him. Conor Gibb is out of the race after 8 laps and will be scoring no points officially from this race, which allows Glamseater to maybe gain on him, but at the moment Glamseater would actually lose out because of the way that drop rounds work and etc. So that's all going to be complicated to work out. And also Andy Flint as well is going to be losing points today. I think he may well be cementing his place in 4th in the standings after this, and no higher, no lower than that, I don't think, at the end of this race. By the way, battle for 9th place still ongoing. Oh, it's Reed Dennis. Oh no, contact.
Oh.
Reed Dennis gets into Reno Scatini and loses his front wing at the corkscrew.
And then magically it's appeared back on the car. Great work for the team to get that out there. Hey, everything's bigger and better in Texas, my friend, including front wings. But they're going to be at it again.
Oh no!
That's a little bit of revenge, I'd have to say, isn't it? That's a little nasty, boys out there. No need for doing that. It's best to have more sportsmanship over there and just go side by side and give it all a go again. You know what I mean? If you no point to do a Sebastian Vettel on a Lewis Hamilton in the past.
I don't know why Reed Dennis was particularly annoyed with Scatini there, because he was the one in the wrong at the corkscrew, in my opinion. Conor Wagner has been off the road, I'm afraid, as well, and that was at the penultimate corner at turn 10. I think he's been off exactly where Scatini was, actually. I don't think the two incidents are related, but Wagner has lost his podium now. Andrew Frigerio is looking for second place, as Timo Milikangis is still running second, but Wagner oh no! Oh, it's contact with a lap car.
Yes,
Dear
again.
Me.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of in those race cockpits tonight there, Ewan, that's for sure. We can't repeat that on air, but I guarantee you there's a few curse words used.
Yeah, certainly. That was not ideal there. By the way, battle for 9th place. Chuck Morrow and Evan Way on your screens right now, and they're just behind Andrea Di Natale and Alex Saviano, putting forward an interesting supposition in the YouTube chat. Whether that Andrea Di Natale is the same Di Natale that played in the 2008 Euros when Spain won in the football. I guess not, but you never know, do you? We'll have to ask him. 3rd place, Benjamin Frigerio at the moment is looking for second ahead of Timo Milikangis here as we wind down towards 10 laps to go in what's been a fantastically crazy race here at Laguna Seca. Far too often this circuit provides very single file, very monotonous racing sometimes, where it's difficult to overtake and not a lot happens throughout the day, but that's not been the case over these 38 laps. It's been enthralling stuff from start to finish, and there will be a few twists and turns, a few corkscrews left in this one.
This is what's happened to Conor Gibb. This is the reason why the man is sitting down in 37th place, and this is where it all went pole-shaped, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the opening lap of the race. That's Adam Talsberg who ends up right in front of him. And then watch this, through the screen. Someone having a terrible time, and more cars spun around further back into the corkscrew. It's absolute carnage. That's your second place man in the championship going forwards into today, out of this race, and at the moment not having a good time in terms of keeping this championship alive. And as of right now, Kenzie Newhoff would be crowned the champion, I believe, with 6th place. I will do the maths again just to make absolutely sure, but with 11 laps to go, Newhoff is doing enough to clinch this title.
There he is currently at the moment, all quietly and alone. Well, you're not really, because those lap cars are the ones that are dangerous at this point. We've seen that with a lot of the drivers so far, trying to get past them, and they've had difficult times getting in contact, and he could be throwing everything away right now. So if I was the Flying Dutchman, looking to get that, stand on that podium there and hold that trophy up to win the championship, just take it easy. Just tap it home, just bring it home. Only got 10 laps to go.
We've got Benjamin Frigerio into the pit lane as well right now. I'm afraid he's been off. Oh, he's got no front wing.
Oh, kind of need one of them.
Twists and turns, and I'm afraid he's got no front wing.
Oh, he needs a Red Bull, because they give you wings. Not sponsored by Red Bull.
Yes, they're not sponsored by Red Bull yet, but yes, he does need a new wing, and I don't think he's going to continue on with this race by the looks of it. Oh no, he will. I think he's making his way out of pit lane right now. As on the outside goes Robert Ridgway on Tumacans. Irvin's Tumacans, that's not quite going to happen. Marcis Prudnix is here as well, so Ridgway's in a bit of a Latvian sandwich at the moment. Here in 14th place, looking for his way through into 13th. Frigeria, by the way, got in front of the both of them, so that's not going to affect this battle. But Ridgway looking quick and forcing Tumacans to defend into almost every corner.
Well, that's what you need to do. Apply the pressure. Play your psychological warfare for the Atomic Racing driver. Casted Mr. Robert Ridgway this week in another racing league here on the JP Broadcasting Network, and he's feisty, a 31 American driver here at home, at least home in his country. We don't know how far he lives away there, but look at that, put the battle on, put the pressure on. They've got to exit speed as well down the hill.
Here we go. Oh, that's close. At the rainy curve. Ridgway looking for that inside, can't quite do it. Putnix will close in. Edward Amos is there as well. This is a fight for 13th place, by the way, but Robert Ridgway can't find his way through. These guys are just going on to their 10 laps to go here. For Marteau, it's considerably less than that. He's making his way round the corkscrew now. He's not far off lapping these guys, as it turns out, as Evan Way continues to try and find his way through on Chuck Morrow, and at the moment still can't in this fight for now 8th place.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this nice little battle that's still brewing here for, you said, for a 13th essentially. As you can see, that's the train doing their best, and a couple other battles are brewing, so we'll keep an eye there as well, as you said, of Ewan Way, Irvin Way, and plenty of others.
Amos.
We haven't really seen our race leader, have we, there, of Marto? That's just what happens, isn't it? Oh.
Evan Way's off, just as we were talking about him.
Right.
Evan Way's off. Well, it's going to be turn 6 again, isn't it? Yeah, also.
Oh, too fast.
That's that all wrong.
Way too much pace into that. Somebody else is actually off down the road. 2 others.
3 cars off here.
I think that was, yeah, here we go. This could be the other cars that were off. Yeah, catching everybody out. This is Adam.
Adam Townsborough again. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah.
Big crash for
That will
Adam
explain that
Townsborough.
one.
Oh my goodness. Bodywork everywhere at the end of all that, and arriving on the scene was Evan Way.
Was it? No, it wasn't Matthew Gracie. There's another one who was just pulled off there. That looks like a technical issue maybe, or no, he's just locked up a brake. It's also been Connor Wagner here. This is interesting. This is 3rd place man here. So what's happened to Connor?
Well, we saw his lapped car incident at turn 10 earlier on. Oh, he's got this all wrong.
Yeah, but I think he should be okay to keep that. He had a little bit of a gap, didn't he, to Greg, so it might still be okay. He is running in P3. There's Connor now.
Still okay. Holding off his fellow American, Greg Seitz, who's in 4th. As he said, he's got enough of a gap to afford a spin like that, but it's the second incident he's had today, which is quite rare for Conor Wagner. He's so good in the Formula 3 cars, so consistent normally. I know that he'll be racing in another league that I'm commentating on tomorrow night in GT4s, searching for a championship there. He just does not know how to lose, does Conor Wagner. And he's going to have to find his way to the title tomorrow night there as well.
Oh, Evan
Way's now gone back to pit lane.
Yeah, it's gone off again here. Oh, that's yeah, that's too much high speed into that, and that's bang. Oh, you don't want to see that, do you? After doing such a great job into the race, and then just like that, one little snap. And I think he even mentioned out there, isn't it? At Gibby said there's more cars in the sand than on track. Well, there's probably more sand on the track than there is tarmac right now because the amount's been kicked up.
Yeah, probably. That's Conor Gibb, by the way, who's now joined us and welcome in. Thanks for watching, Conor, but commiserations to you for the day. Benjamin Frigerio makes his way into 10th place here ahead of Philip Lucas. That's a change inside the top 10. Decent recovery for the Frenchman, who was looking at a podium earlier on, but now resetting his goals for a top 10 as Robert Ridgway still can't find his way through on Tumacans.
Oh, he can't, can he? But also trying to play it safely. getting the overtake. We saw some fantastic overtaking done earlier, just timing it all right there, get on the brakes there, trust in the brakes. Daniel Ricciardo days, last of the late breakers. That will work, though obviously he wouldn't be doing it here like that.
Oh,
but in the F3s...
He's hit the curb at turn 6. It had to end somehow, and unfortunately, it's ended in the worst possible way for Evans Tummikins. It's that curb at turn 6 again, and he's just avoided the wall, but he's in the sand and he's dropped 3 places.
It's the bump, isn't it? If you see the entry into it, it's the bump. They hit the bump, and of course, there's a little bit of a thing that they need importance. It's called traction. You slow it down a little bit. If you hit the bumps, yeah, of course, it lifts the car up, and you no longer have those 4 points of contact. And just like that, you're out into the best spot to get your tickets to watch this live race here for round 11.
Yes, it's a great place to go and watch, as it turns out, or it would have been this evening. Still, this battle continues for 12, although Robert Ridgway now should be able to stretch his legs. Swansea Lindhoff as well. Wonder if that's at turn 6. Are we going to see him here? Well, maybe. Oh, I think that is him up in the distance there, isn't it? He was trying to catch Kenzie Newhoff for top 5. I don't think that's going to happen now. It was indeed.
This is a repeat.
It didn't even hit the curb. He just got it wrong here.
Carrying the speed through, then you can just keep it straight and get back onto the track there. Slow it down, obviously, into the corner, because your tyres are going to be like you're running on ice at that point, so you can get that dirt off. It doesn't take too long to get that sand, actually, but... Yep, back into it. No harm, no foul. What's happening in the other action here at the moment? Yeah, once again, our race leader, my friend, just cruising on by there, the Flying Dutchman. Jeez, what is with the Dutch winning races all the time? It's crazy, isn't it?
They need to stop it, really, don't they? Because it's getting ridiculous. Barto has, of course, won 2 weeks ago at the Nürburgring, and now he's at the GP layout, of course, and now he's winning in Laguna Seca as well over in the United States. So, what a season. Well, I don't say what a season overall it's been for him, but it's certainly been a good last few weeks for him here. Is he setting himself up maybe for a title charge next season? We certainly hope so. We'll, of course, be going to the final round at Monza next time out. That's going to be an interesting one, but it looks like it may well be a bit of a dead rubber as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, because Kenzie Newhoff is in 5th place, and that's more than enough to be securing his place as champion at the end of today. The 38 points that he will, the 39 points even, that he will gain from that will be another 6 put into Conor Gibb. His gap at the end of the day should be 28 points over his nearest championship rival, with a maximum that he can lose in one day of just 5 because of how strong his drop weeks have been. 5 laps to go until he crowns himself unofficially as champion of the iGPFun F3 League, Season 3 of 2023. We go back to the battles further in the field, though. This is where the action is. It's between Marcis Putniks and Edwin Amos, 13th place, right in the midfield. They've been providing the action for most of the latter half of this race.
And action has been absolutely jam-packed all the way to the checkered flag. About 4 laps or so to go. You see all that traffic heating out of the way there. Don't want to be a part of that party. I think that was Michael LeMay. Michael will have his time to shine, no doubt, in the future. As the drivers will be getting ready, hopefully, of course, all signing back up there. Getting it all done. It looks like Connor had a little bit off-track moment, but I believe it was only a second and change, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem for the man. Currently running in P3. Started in P3, running in P3 for the 51 machine. And I think that's just really all that was. Just scrub and live to see another day here, right?
By the way, you mentioned the sand being brought onto the circuit there. Just on that replay, as we were on board through the right-hander at turn 4, you saw sand actually appearing on the right-hand wheels of the car, despite the fact that he was still on the quote-unquote tarmac. He was still between the white lines, but still getting sand on the tyres because of how much of it there is now on the circuit. It's just blowing about everywhere. So much of it, you can even see it visually out there on the circuit. I know Harrison's a bit dramatic with it sometimes, but
we've had a crash
goodness
here.
Me, there's a lot of it. Matthew Gracey maybe falling afoul of that as well and bringing a bit more onto it as he makes his way down the... Oh, no. This was very awkward.
Oh, who was that coming through as well, too? That could have been... Is that Matthew? No, that's Matthew here. There was Reno. So it was Matthew and Reno came together here. Here's Reno. So Reno's actually just trying to get out of the way, letting the quicker cars through. So just, continuing on his way. But has he turned in here not realizing there's a quicker driver coming up through there? That can happen, isn't it? Hard to see your mirrors in these cars, because just to give you an indication how hard it is to see if you've never driven it. Look at that. Look at your mirrors, mate. It's going to depend on what you have for your monitor setup, your VR setup, or whatever you have, but they're not easy, just like real racing cars.
They were fighting, by the way, for a position. Were Scattini and Gracie, so not sure what that was all about. And I think it was Arroyo who made his way through as well, as we go on to 3 laps to go now for Thiago Marteau at the front of the field. It's Philip Lucas, it's still in 10th, and Benjamin Fregerio in the 11th place. No other battles inside the top 10, but this one 4/10th. Lucas with just 3 laps to try and hold on to this place. Realistically, it's less than 4 minutes, not long to go, but the Frenchman will want to get at least back into that top 10 in a race where he's run inside the top 3 for most of the day.
Exactly where you're going to be. As I place my GoPro camera on by the track there, so please don't run over it, guys. It's quite expensive. Just gives you the sensation of speed of these cars if you were basically sitting trackside there. And that's what you're going to be seeing coming at you. At 100 to 200 miles per kilometers per hour and so forth. But we have to, obviously, we do have to go see that the Flying Dutchman, here he is, just getting past a lap car. The number 22 machine, just done everything right from the very start of the race there, Ewan.
Yep, done everything right. He's now lapped a lot of drivers, by the way, in the field. I think he's all the way up to 14th, is Thiago Marteau. Great drive from him today. He's on the penultimate lap now with 13 seconds ahead. By the way, that camera angle there that you just put on the floor between turn 3 and 4 reminded me, I don't know if you remember, about 5 years ago, a cameraman in a GT free race around Laguna Seca, when they used to have, I think they used to have a long endurance race here in GT frees. A cameraman was literally stood almost exactly where you put your camera there. Just decided, I'm going to walk out to the circuit, I'm going to get to the edge of the curb, and I'm going to get the best photos of all time. Obviously got suspended for that, but somebody, for whatever reason, decided to do exactly this. It wasn't quite as dangerous as this, but on that camera you saw between 3 and 4, he did exactly that, and that camera angle just reminded me of it. But anyway, thankfully this is virtual, and we can do these kind of things without risking
Barney.
our lives.
Here's the white flag, so there it is, my friends. 1 to go. Yeah, you're right. In fact, well, today is actually some of the best photography you're ever going to get, but you won't be able to do it, of course, unless you are a photographer, is in Monte Carlo for the Monaco GP race. They basically, you know, the, what do you call it, the awnings there, the armcos, there's a gap between them, and the camera guys can get the camera right up between the gap there to take some great photos. Of course, you're inches away from the cars at certain points on that track, and that's about as close as you're ever going to get safely to a race car. But then again, it is Monte Carlo, so good luck in trying to find more than 5 overtakes. Goes a little bit dusty out there. Just take it easy, my friend. You've got this race win in the bag. Should go through underway.
He should do. Thiago Marteau with a late pole position. And what a great lap time it was. What an important lap it was as well. How much of this lead would he have at this point without that lap at the end of qualifying? How important was that in the story of this race? I guess we will never know, but Marteau won't care. He's nearly 13 seconds in front of the rest of the field, and it's going to be a second win in 3 weeks for him. Out of the final corner now for the Dutchman, it's Thiago Marteau who wins at Laguna Seca in round 11 of the iGPFun F3 League for Season 3 in 2023. He takes the win ahead of Timo Milikangis, who qualified second, will finish second. Conor Wagner will join them on the podium, having qualified there as well, with Greg Seats rounding off in 4th. And then, unofficially, your champion, Kenzie Newhoff, making his way towards the line. He now cannot be caught mathematically going forward into the final round of this season. Kenzie Newhoff will be champion for Season 3 in 2023.
And what a feeling that must be. What a feeling. The Dutch have done it here, of course, the world champion of the series. Just getting everything in it done. Just getting that nice 5 positions gain in P5. All it takes. And of course, our Dutch race winner of Martino. So, Dutch 1 and 2 have done it here in the United States backyard here in California.
And also in the Teams Championship, of course, it's a big day for No Limit Sim Racing. They started with a big advantage, but Christian Glamseater's race and his drive up to 16th has given them a big step forward as well, ahead of Andy Flint and Adam Townsmer, who both finish a long way down. Flint finishing 32nd, but there'll be question marks about whether he even gets any points from this. Adam Townsmer finishing down in 29th. The drive there from the Norwegian, possibly giving No Limit Sim Racing a team's title over Scuderia Hydroforce Racing as well in the teams. So possibly 2 championships settled here tonight. But Kenzie Newhoff's moment certainly is now.
Congratulations, Team Radio. Kenzie, congratulations. You are the world champion of the iGPFun Racing League.
Fantastic.
Wish we had that, actually. Now I'd love to hear from the driver right now. Of course, we hopefully will hear from the driver in the post-race interviews, as well as to give me a chance to go back and have a look at some of those replays and stuff like that. So, official results we should get for you on the screen just about now there, Ewan.
Everyone's crossed the line, so let's get to the official race results after 38 laps at Laguna Seca. Thiago Marteau wins by 12 seconds in the end, ahead to Timo Milakangis and Conor Wagner on the podium. Craig Sykes finishes 4th, and Kenzie Newhoff with a 5th place should be crowned your champion for season 3. Yuanxi Lin finishes 6th ahead of Andrea Di Natale, who was up and down throughout that race, finishing 7th in the end. Chuck Morrow ends up 8th ahead of Len Sherry and Philip Lucas, who held off Benjamin Fregerio for 10th. Robert Ridgway finished 12th ahead of Marcis Putnix and Edward Amos, the final drivers on the lead lap. Marek Sotlovs finished 1 lap down. And after that, in 16th place, it was Christian Glamseater. You can see the donuts going on in the background, by the way, that we're slightly distracted by. Christian Glamseater finishes 16th. What a story that is for them in the teams championship for No Limit Sim Racing. Gareth Spence is in 17th ahead of Reed Dennis, Ermas Tumikans and Koji Ito, who round out the top 20. Ben Goyette finishes 21st ahead of Dorian Arroyo. Reno Scatini 23rd ahead of Matthew Gracie after their late incident. Michael LeMay finishes 25th. Paolo Brem will be 26th ahead of Matt Brewer, who was 2 laps down, along with Vacislav Potapenko. 7 laps down there with Adam Townsmer. Whether he will score points or not is a question mark. We'll have to do the maths on that. Evan Way finishes in 30th place. Aaron Smith, 31st ahead of Andy Flint, who will be very disappointed with 32nd. Roberto Fay at 33rd ahead of Will McIntyre-Jones, who ran inside the top 10 early on. Zoltan Demotta was 35th ahead of Nick Carty and Conor Gibb, who sees his championship charges come to an end today with 37th. Andrea Katter finishes 30th ahead of Joris Blom and Jacques Willems, the final drivers inside the top 40. Lee Aberdeen and Clark Williams didn't really get to the end of only a couple of laps in that race.
And
there we have it.
A race it has been.
Absolutely. What a race. And congratulations to Kenzie Newhoff, of course, and No Limit Sim Racing as well. We're speaking, Biggles, as if this is the last round. Of course, it's not. We've got one more to go here, but it feels like it will be almost a lap of honour for everybody, and it will be a bit of fun for us to watch on from Monza next week, because the championships are all but done. At this point, we can enjoy the race as it is, and if it's anything like the race we've just seen, then it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
And Monza, what a way to go, isn't it? Just the Temple of Speed to wrap up the season of speed. That's going to be an absolute cracker. Absolutely, of course, it's Monza, mate. You're gonna have to get your pint up on your pizza. I'll bring it for you if you need to, Ewan.
Oh yeah, we'll offend the Italians in that case. There are a few of them, but I'll have it. Yeah. As we have a little slow-mo of the start of the race, it was the all-important moment really for Thiago Marteau to convert that pole position into an early lead, and then he ran away with the rest of the field. It was all at the corkscrew on the opening lap, wasn't it, where we saw the main incidents of the day. We've seen it many times, but I think before we end the broadcast, I think it's worth seeing it one more time, isn't it? just to have a look at someone cartwheeling through the air, to be quite honest.
Well, yeah, we're just still trying to remember which driver that was specifically, because there was so many of them. We'll just have a little bit of a recap on this one. We'll try to slow it down to give you a little bit of an indication. We don't usually do this, but it was so important in the championship too, and it's so certainly exciting as well to the Ewan.
Yeah, was this the moment that Conor Gibb saw his title chances slip away? Well, I think they were already looking a little bit slim by that point anyway, but even so...
Here's Connor's perspective there. Sorry, Connor, we have to do it to you, my friend, but You sign the agreement for the action. See, at this point, look at this. So he's got to, all right, I'm just going to commit to the racing line. I got nowhere to go. There's cars going everywhere. He can't stop it. He can't turn left. Has to slam into the side. And then there's the continuo effect, isn't it, from everybody else behind. Have a look at the chopper cam there. And here's the cars flying everywhere. Look at this. Airborne. Does he get over top? Almost.
Jack Williams there is in the sort of rainbow livery on the left-hand side, backs into one of the blue cars as well. It was absolute carnage at the start.
Who was the one that
pretty
was flying
defining moment
in the air there? The livery, the orange livery?
The orange and black, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But got to give now sending crying emojis to the chat. We apologise for showing that again. But
hang on.
But,
we might have one here to have a look at. Cause
we had to see it.
I do know that kind of occurred here, but...
Well, there we are.
So here we go.
This is the view. This might give us more of a view as to actually how that car ended up cartwheeling through the air. Williams was very near to all of that. Let's have a look here. Does he get rear-ended maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't he ever? Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Well, that's the part to the puzzle that we've been missing, and we find it with Williams there being totally rear-ended. And that's how there was a car sent flying through the air. Jack not able to stop, unfortunately, slamming straight into the side of the 76. Yeah. And we'll put Connick out of his misery now because he seems to be not enjoying our replays. So we'll bid our farewells. A big thank you to everybody who's been tuned in the chat this evening. It's been great to hear from you, have your input, and hopefully you have enjoyed the show this evening. Hopefully you've enjoyed the race. It's been one of the more chaotic ones this season, one of the more enjoyable ones as well. I hope you have at home as well here live from Laguna Seca. Make sure you subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel so you don't miss next week's race. It's very much championship finale time in iRacing with week 12 coming up, so plenty of great racing and big championships to settle over the course of the week on the JPB YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them, and make sure you return again for next week's broadcast. The finale of the iGPFun F3 League will of course be live from Monza, same time, same place next week. But for now, we will bid our farewells. I've been Ewan Leary alongside Dean Biggles here this evening, and until we see you in 1 week's time at Monza, it's goodbye for now.